Things you won't learn in school. Pareto principle. The Pareto principle, named after Italian economist Vilfredo Pareto, is known as the 80-20 rule, since it states roughly 80% of the effects come from 20% of the causes, or 80% of the results come from 20% of the work. It's also referred to as the law of vital few because that 20% is vital to 80% of your success. This isn't a magic formula, though it is groundbreaking when it was first introduced. But it's quite an insight. Of course, it doesn't apply to everything ever, but it applies to more than you might think. It's a simple rule kids can learn to help them focus on what's important. Leadership. Leadership is encouraged within certain organizations and school, but true leadership isn't taught. I've heard it said that authentic leadership can't be taught, it must be modeled. I think that's half true. Sure, it must be modeled, but the concepts and key ideas can be taught. That's exactly what John C. Maxwell has been doing through his books. As part of the 5 marks of authentic leadership, Michael Hyatt explains that authentic leaders have insight, intuition, influence, impact, and integrity. While it's not easy to teach every single one of those, the importance of them can be taught. And if we're going to, with the leadership must be modeled, not taught philosophy, we're missing the point that modeling leadership is teaching leadership. The difference would be actually putting it into a class instead of hoping that the students will see the teachers and school staff modeling leadership, even if we just started by teaching the difference between persuasion and manipulation. It's a fine line, but it means everything. Time/life management. Children will often get this in their first semester of college. How do we wait so long? It's as simple as learning to prioritize and be intentional with your time. Of course, kids can't learn to manage their time without time to manage. So it's key that the schools and our homes are giving children enough time, like open time, to manage. If we're structuring every minute of their school day and home's time, they literally won't have the time to learn time management. I've seen teachers who have their kids use agendas religiously, and this can be a great thing. But more often, I've seen teachers give their kids an agenda and have the kids figure it out on their own. I wonder how many agendas are floating around the classroom with only the first 2 weeks of school filled out. Online etiquette and safety. This is actually becoming a growing part of education, and I love that. I think it's super important for kids to know at a young age. So, what should kids be learning about online etiquette? This would be a great start. So, email etiquette. Email is going to be a huge part of your child's life. They're already using it in schools from early grades. It's important to understand that people can't interpret your mood through words. So, what you say is what matters. Wording is important, especially when words are all you have. This applies to the corporate and professional world, ministry, military, and life in general. Social media etiquette. 92% of teens go online daily, and 71 have more than one social media website, according to Pew Research Center. And that was as of 2015. I'm sure it's increased significantly to somewhere around 105%. What kids post on social media matters. These are real people. Kids need to learn what's okay to say and what's not. Cyber safety. 90% of teens have witnessed cyberbullying in their lives, and 10 to 20% reported it happening to them personally on a consistent basis. On top of that, it's believed that almost 40% of cyberbullying goes unreported. Between protecting themselves and social media through email and online in general, kids need to learn the risk and how to combat this. I'm happy to see cyber safety making its way into schools. It's important to talk about things like cyberbullying. One a more positive note, learning proper email and internet etiquette will serve students for the rest of their life. People skills. During my time writing this article, which took a while, believe it or not, I read People Skills by Robert Bolton. It dawned on me that we need to be teaching this stuff in schools. People skills such as listening skills. I think every teacher would love kids to learn this one. But I'm not just referring to doing what you're told. I'm talking more about assertive listening. Learning how to listen to others, actually hear what they say, and for your kids to be able to explain it in their own words. Communication skills. If you have something to say, it won't make a difference unless you can communicate it. Kids need to learn how to get their point across the right way. Negotiation skills. Negotiations don't just happen in used car lots. We negotiate in all areas of our lives. We're either trying to obtain something or trying to sell something in one way or another. Stress management. Along with emotional intelligence, this is one of the most important things kids can learn. New studies from the American Psychological Association are showing that kids are more stressed than ever, and it's getting worse. Another APA study revealed that teens are more stressed than adults. Even worse, suicide rates for teens are soaring up to 70%. For white children between the ages of 10 and 17, and 77% for black children, even though black children typically commit suicide at a lower rate than white. How to spot a scam? From people selling a free Disneyland ticket in exchange for an hour of your time, to sit through a presentation, to princess in foreign lands giving away millions of dollars via email. The number of scams is not shrinking. The younger you are, the easier you are to target. Basic first aid in emergencies. I've been the first responder to 4 car accidents in my life, and I am not a first responder. It just happened that we came up upon an accident right after it occurred, or saw it happen in front of us. You never know when that will be your kid, first on the scene. And sometimes you're the only one around. As my wife and I were in the middle of desert Arizona on Interstate 10 at 2 a.m. when we saw a driver fall asleep and flip his SUV. As you can tell, these stories are not mine. But anyway, we learned the basic of self-aid, buddy care in the military. And while the war-related things may not apply, the basics would help cut everyone. So the basics would be CPR, how to treat the shock, how to stop bleeding, the signs of um, someone having a stroke or heart attack, how to splint a limb, when to move and when to not move a person who has been injured. Likewise, the signs for a spinal cord injury. I'm sure I forgot a few of the basics, but you get the point. And then the last one on this is self-defense. Violent crimes in schools are actually down, but it's still prevalent. 65% of public schools recorded incidents of physical attacks or fights without a weapon in the 2015-2016 school year, compared to 71% in 2009. Both numbers are troubling. Maslow's hierarchy of needs shows us how safety is a basic human need. Safety is 90% awareness, knowledge, self-esteem, attitude, confidence, and choice, and 10% strategy, de-escalating language, and physical defense tactics, and protective gear.